Another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Saturday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do share the video on all social media platforms. And I got up as soon as the video started, and I guess I accidentally hit a button and it zoomed in way too close, but don't worry, my face and my head is not swollen, but I don't know what I hit, and I'm not really tech savvy, so I don't want to hit a button and make it worse. So I'll just do this video like this. Don't worry, everything is normal. Hopefully everybody's had a fantastic Saturday. But I want to talk about tonight whether or not there'll be a merger, because there's been rumors going around for about 3 years now, and I've mentioned it here on the channel numerous times about a merger between, the SEC and the Big Ten, where it looked like both conferences were going to 30 teams in each conference, and then we'd have about 60 teams, and they would break away and basically try to form their own version of college football and piss on everybody else. But these last couple of weeks, maybe even a month now, those two conferences are not getting along. You got SEC coaches bashing the Big Ten. You got Big Ten coaches bashing the SEC. You've got SEC commissioners bashing the Big Ten commissioner bashing the SEC. And you got people on both sides bashing the opposite side. Now you got the Big Ten wanting a 2014 off, the SEC, wanting it to stay at 12, maybe 16. So they're not getting along on anything. So now it's kind of hard to believe that you got two conferences that aren't at all getting along, that will all of a sudden work together. So I don't know if that, smoke and mirrors and that's it. I could see a scenario where maybe you take the top 6 teams in the Big Ten, maybe Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, maybe, Iowa, teams like that. And then you take the top 5 or 6 in the SEC, which would be Alabama, Georgia, LSU, I guess Ole Miss, maybe Tennessee. Maybe you take those 9 or 10 teams, and those 9 or 10 teams try to break away and come together and form their own conference or their own division, whatever you want to call it, and add teams to it and form something that way. But those two conferences right now are just bashing that it's hard for me to believe they're all of a sudden going to say, you know what, let's put all this aside and start working together. Now, it could just be smoke and mirrors, because college football is doing everything they can to be like the NFL. And the NFL's pretty much figured out a way where they've got something going on all year long to where you never forget about the NFL. You never forget about them. That's why they had the schedule release in the middle of May and the draft in the middle of April. And then they take a week or so off, and next thing you know, you start seeing, summer workouts. They pretty much stay on your memory all year long. Hey there, Junisha. Glad to have you here. So I think college football is trying to get like the NFL. They stay fresh on your mind all year. Do it by doing all this stuff now, all this smack. Now you've got ACC media days coming up. You've got SEC media days coming up. You've got Big Ten media days coming up. And now all you're going to have is each individual conference is going to be bashing the other conferences. So it's going to make media days more exciting. And then when media days ends, you're going to have 2 or 3 weeks of people reacting to media days and what coach said what and why they say this and what's this mean. And then by the time that ends, you start seeing NFL preseason. So maybe it's just college football's way to try to stay in your memory all year long. But I think there's something to it. I don't think these conferences are getting along. I don't know. I'm glad you asked that, Janisha, but I'm not real techno savvy. I'm hoping I get it fixed by the time I do my next. Not, I'll start pushing buttons to try to figure out what I did, because my wife likes to play music when she goes to bed, and YouTube is very, very picky about music in the background. So I just got up to close the bedroom door real fast to make sure that the music wouldn't be heard in the background during the video. And I guess when I jumped up so fast, my finger accidentally hit something, and I don't have any idea what I hit. Now, it only affects, my face. Everything else looks normal. The comments look normal. So it's just my face, but I promise I'm fine. My head's not this big, but, I don't know what all these buttons mean, and I don't want to push a button and make it worse. So I'm not going to touch anything, but hopefully come the next video, everything's back to normal. If not, I'll have to push buttons and figure out. Honestly, I don't know what I did. I have no idea. So we'll find out before long if this is just, smoke and mirrors or something to it, because earlier in the week you had somebody come out and say that he has spoken to people from the SEC and the Big Ten, and they have both said there's no danger of any kind of merger happening. There's been no talks of it. It's not happening. And then about the time he said that, somebody else came out and said, hey, this guy's lying. There are talks of the SEC and the Big Ten working together, and they're going to get together. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when, because it's going to happen. And then the guy that said nothing will happen came back out and said, no, they're lying. There's been no talks of a merger. Each other, it's not going to happen. And it looked like we were heading that way, but now you've got the NIL stuff going on, and you have the biggest saying, hey, we want to make our conference money. We want to make our teams money. And the SEC's coming out saying, we want to make our conference money. We want to make our teams money. So they're not concerned about the other conference. So it's kind of hard to believe that somebody you're not concerned with and not worried about would come out and say, yeah, we'll work with them. It just doesn't seem feasible. It doesn't seem plausible. It doesn't seem possible. But if you've got one side saying there's no talks of it, it's not happening, and you've got another side saying there are talks of it, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Somebody somewhere is lying. No politics. But I mentioned this sometime this past week here on the channel. Politics pretty much don't have a choice, and I despise politics. And as crooked as politics are, if they can't fix politics, how are they going to fix college football? But somebody has to try, because every time the NCAA steps in, somebody sues them. So every time somebody don't get their way, whether it's a player or a coach, they say, well, I'll take them to court and I'll just sue them. So if the NCAA tried to step in and fix it, somebody would sue them. So the NCAA can't do anything. So if you want to see it fixed and the NCAA can't fix it, the only other option you have is somebody from a court somewhere in politics trying to fix it. But at least somebody's trying to fix it, because it needs to be fixed and needs to be fixed fast. But any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I asked a young lady living on her pa's farm what they did with all their fruit. We eat all we can and can what we can't. And that does it for today's Ref Brain and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Reverend saying, just like in